Welcome to this first video, which is a refresher of the Scratch programming environment that you may have seen in the earlier years of school. The idea is to remind yourself how to use Scratch to make a small computer program, and then to take the step into real computer programming in Python. And the idea is that by the end of this course of videos, short videos, you should be able to write a simple program in Python. And I thought if we started with something you might have seen already, which is how to use Scratch, you're on familiar territory and you can build from there. So first of all, I'll show you a very silly little play that I've made, which is two characters talking to each other. And they send each other messages in the background of this application and wait for each other to finish speaking before they then take their turn speaking. And so that's what this is about here. It says, what will we learn here? And it's how to move a sprite around. This is a sprite of an elf. How to make the characters say things and wait for their turn to speak. And that's done using messages and then, putting a background in and sort of making a simple scene like this. Let's see what it's all about, first of all. It's meant to be a bit silly. So let's watch what they say to each other. And I've not included any sound. So he's wondering where people are. Here's the silly bear. So you can see it's pretty silly. This little character here seems pretty impressed with the bear standing up, and he's saying, "Oh, I like bears," and the bear's pretty arrogant, and then disappears. So when you make something, try and make it a bit silly and entertaining if possible. So now let's talk about how I've done this. Now, one of the things I can do is go inside this project and show you it, but that can be quite overwhelming when I do that, because you'll just see things everywhere and just possibly wonder where to begin. But I will show you, and then I'll start a new project and we'll see how I did this. So if I press the See Inside button here, you notice I've got my scene over on the right hand side, and I can play it again from within this coding environment. And you'll see it starts again and he says, "Where is everybody?" And then the bear comes on and so on. And I'll just stop it as we've already seen it. But the code for the goblin character, this little character here, is on this left-hand window here. And then if I click on the bear, you'll notice that the code changes, because that's the logic for the bear. And these little blocks of code are the logic for what I want the bear to do. And they're independent things. For example, this is the code here. When the green flag is clicked, do these things. And so it's saying basically, when you press go, the bear will do these things. And you'll notice it says, when I receive message 1, when I receive bears are cool. These are messages that the two characters say to each other secretly. We don't see any of this on the screen. They just send each other messages behind the scenes. And it's how they prompt each other to speak at the right time. And you'll notice, if I go back to the goblin code, I've got when the green is clicked, the goblin will do these things. And then when it receives the message, bear stood up, then it will do these things here. And there's another one down here. When he receives the end, the bear says the end when he's finished. And then this goblin character receives that message and then does these things here. And so one of the main things that I could teach you in this video is that we're broadcasting messages to each other at certain points in time. And then each animal or sprite is waiting to receive those messages in order to act in a certain way. So one of the things to remember about Scratch is the code for the bear is there. The code for that other sprite, the goblin, is there. And also if I click on the stage, which is the background, there's actually a small amount of code, which is just general code that everything can see. And this is the thing that gives it the castle background. And I could choose other backgrounds. If I chose a different backdrop, it would have a different background there. So that's the overall logic of how Scratch works. And again, go back. I've got some code for my goblin, some for my bear, and some for the overall project. And if we was to look at the goblin code just briefly, as I've said, it can be a bit overwhelming when you first see someone else's logic. When you first press the green start button, the goblin switches to a particular costume. And in this case, costume is slightly misleading. It doesn't necessarily mean the clothes that the character is wearing. It means the pose that they're in as well, that where their arms are, what their facial expression is, and so on. So it's basically a version of the sprite for that particular character. So if I was to change it to, let's say, picture C at the beginning and press start, you'll notice that he's got a bit of a sad look on his face. Whereas if I change it to picture D, costume D, and press start, he's actually got a bit of an angry look. His ears are up. And whereas picture B, I think his arm's in the air on that one. Let me see. So he's got his arm up. And so you can basically use these different costumes to make a character do different poses and different facial expressions and so on. So I think costume might be a slightly misleading name for it. So you can see when I press the green flag, which means go, he changes into the costume, which is this standard pose that he stood in there. That happens instantly. The user doesn't see that. It's just an instant change. He then thinks something, and I can just tell him whatever I want in there. He waits for 3 seconds, and he thinks something else, then he waits for 3 seconds. And this little think nothing here is the way of getting rid of the think bubble from before. So if you ever want to remove the previous speech or thinking bubble that you would see on the screen, you just put a blank one in. So he basically thinks a few things and waits, and then broadcasts the message called message 1. And you might think, well, what does that do? Well, basically, he sends a message and then just sits there. And other sprites can wait for this message to be sent before they take action. So let me show you what the bear then does. The bear, first of all, when we click go, the bear sets himself to 55% size, hides and goes off the edge of the screen and goes into a particular pose, which is the standard bear, 4 legs on the floor position that you see on the right here. And that's basically putting the bear off the side of the screen so you can't see him. So when I press start, the bear, this code has just executed and the bear's off the side of the screen. And what's happening here is the goblin character is going through its code, the things, thinking and saying things, and then it broadcasts this message, which is message 1. And that is when the bear will run this code here. When the message 1 is secretly passed behind the scenes between these sprites, the bear's waiting for a message. It gets message 1, and then it's time for the bear to come on. So it shows himself. It's currently still off the screen, so he moves on. Glide means move. Moves over a period of 1.2 seconds to this position. These are coordinates, and this 177 minus 124 are the coordinates of the position where the bear is there. And then the bear does the same thing. It says some things, waits, says something else, waits. Then I remove the speech bubble, so he's not saying anything. The bear's saying, look at me, I can stand up. And actually at this point here, after the bear said I can stand up, you notice I changed the costume of the bear from the 4 on the floor pose to the standing up pose there. So that's how you make the bear stand up. And then it says, check me out, waits for 3 seconds, and then sends a message back. Bear stood up. I just gave that message that name. It means the bear's now standing up. And that means the goblin can wait for that message to do whatever it's going to do next. So the goblin, when the goblin receives the bear standing up message, it was just waiting here. It's just sent that message to the bear, sat waiting. It then switches to a different pose and says bears are cool, waits 3 seconds and sends the bears are cool message. That then gets the bear back in action again. The bear will do this code here when the bears are cool message is sent. And again, these are behind the scenes. These are not messages that we see on the screen. They're internal in the computer system. Things can pass each other messages to tell each of the sprites to behave in different ways. So when this secret message is sent, the bear then says, coolest animals in the woods, don't mess with me. Bit mean, calls him a loser, and then disappears. And this little loop here is a clever way of making the bear disappear off the screen. And if you Google it, it's difficult to get sprites to go off the screen in Scratch. And one trick is to make the sprite really small, move it, and then make it the same size again. Sorry, make it really big, move it, and make it the same size again. And it's a trick to get the sprite off the screen. Otherwise, they sort of get stuck just on the edge of the screen. So that's what this is about. This is a 50 loop, 50 times. Make yourself big, move a little bit, make yourself the same size as you were, wait a little bit, and it just does that 50 times. And that's how I get the bear to disappear off the side of the screen. And you'll notice when the bear's finished moving off the side of the screen, it then hides itself, so it's gone forever, and then broadcasts the end, sends one final message at the end. And that's where the goblin runs this final piece of code, which is change of expression, a little sad face, and it just thinks, what's just happened? I've just been insulted by an angry bear. So let's watch that again. So the goblin's running through its code, where is everyone? Then sends a message. That then starts the bear receiving this message, saying things. It's about to stand up and send the stand-up message. Then it goes back to the goblin. The goblin's now going to run this bear has stood up code, speaking. Then it sends the bears a cool message. The bears a cool code is here. This is now running. The bears just moved off the screen and sent the end message. And the goblin then changes to the little sad face and says, what's just happened there? That bear was mean. Now, that's a lot to take in. So my advice would be, if you are going to try and make something like this, to keep it simple, start a new project and just see if you can get two animals or two creatures or two sprites just talking to each other. And try and do that now. So this should be the end of it. So if I go into my stuff, this is my... I'm going to lose the changes I've made. I've not made any changes that I'm bothered about. And I can just go inside Scratch and say, new project. And it just creates me a blank one. Normally, you've got this little cat. Here he is. So I'm just going to stick with that cat. And I'm going to make the cat do something. So the first thing I want to do is, and bear with me because there's lots of different places that I could be working here. When you press the start button, I'm going to make the cat say hello. So that's pretty simple. Let's do that right now. There you go, he's saying hello, so there's nothing complicated happening. But I'm actually then going to make the cat, if I can find the wait event. There it is. I'm going to, after 3 seconds, which was the time I was using in my previous story, I'm then going to make the cat send a message. Now that's inside events, I think. So it's going to send a message. And I'm going to give it a new name. I'm going to say new message. Make other sprite talk. Now you can call it anything I want, but I'm calling it that. So I'm going to send the message to make the other sprite talk. Or the other thing I'm going to do as well is get rid of that message that's hello. So just say nothing there. So what that does is, if I run it, it will say hello, wait 3 seconds. The hello message will disappear. And then inside the computer system, it's just sent this broadcasting message to everybody saying, I want the other thing to talk. And I might think, what is the other thing? I've not added it to my project yet. I'll do that now. So I'm going to add another creature. I'm going to go in here. It doesn't even matter. I'll just pick anything. You see, that's that bear that I had before. How about this random person? No, I'm going to make this little chick thing that can talk. So one of the things you can do, it's facing the wrong way, is go into costumes, and you'll notice it's facing the wrong way. If you press Control A, I've selected the entire image and I can do flip horizontal, and now it's facing the right way. And then I can go back into my code. So now I'm on the code for the chick, and at the moment, if I run this, the cat will say hello, send a message to everybody, and the chick's just sat there, doesn't know what to do. So I need to give it some instructions. And one of the things I can tell it to do is to wait for that message and then behave in a certain way. Find where it is. Here we go. When I receive. Now that is the code that's used to make one of your sprites do something when a particular message has been sent by the system. And you'll notice I've got some choices. This is the only message that's been sent in my program so far. When make other sprite talk. When that is sent, I'm going to make this little chicken thing say something. Say, it's my turn to speak. And then let's keep going with the same sort of logic as before. I'm going to put a little wait in there. 3 seconds. Then I'm going to blank its speech bubble off, so its speech bubble disappears. And for now, they'll just take turns speaking. Watch this. Hello. Message sent. It's my turn to speak. And of course, you might think, well, what if you want the cat to say something back? It's dead simple. You just keep going. So let's go to events. After the little chicken thing has said it's my turn to speak, it would broadcast a new message. I'm going to call it cat2 because it's the second thing the cat's going to do. So it broadcasts cat2, and of course, I click on the cat and say, when I receive cat2, and this can be the behavior for the cat, I can say the end. It's going to be the simplest little interaction between these two things, the end. Now that means the cat will wait until it receives this message before it says this thing here. Let's go then. Hello. It sends a message to the chick speaks, then the chick sends a message back, and the cat says the end. That is the basic logic of how you get them to talk to each other. And if you want to know how to put a background in, because of course it looks a bit boring at the moment, go to the stage, click on backdrops, and add a new one down here. Choose one. I'm going to pick, they're playing baseball apparently. There they are. And then if I press run again, you'll see that they have that same conversation, but this time it's on a baseball field. Hello, it's my turn to speak. At the end. And of course, you can make them move around and do other things as well. Now, if I go back to my main area here, my stuff is called, you'll notice I've got various projects that I've been working on. And if I click here, the difference now is you'll actually see it running in a window and you don't see all the code. And you can put the title of the project and some instructions here telling people what to do. But if I now press run, you'll see what the end user will see. And it looks more like a little application without the code on show. But if you do want to see the code, see inside. And we can go back to where we were and keep working on it. Now, of course, it's up to you to introduce other behaviours. Maybe when the chicken first gets involved in this conversation, after it's said, it's my turn to speak, I could make the chicken move. So let's make the chicken move to the right. So I don't know, I'm going to make it go 154. So it should take 1 second to move to these new coordinates. So let's see what happens now. So I think the chicken will say something and then wait and then move. Should move before. There you go, it moves, and then the other cat starts talking, etc., etc. I'm sure you can use your imagination and get them moving around and behaving in all sorts of clever and amusing ways. Remember, if you rewind this video and go back to an earlier segment, you'll see me talking about how to change the size of the sprite to bigger and then back to smaller again inside a loop to get the object to move right off the screen. If you don't do that trick, I mean, I'm not sure what this one will do, but if I try and move it sort of very far to the right-hand side, sometimes the sprite won't move properly. Let's see if it moves. See if it moves off the right-hand side. Yeah, you can see its face is still visible. Even if I put some huge number in there, it's going to make no difference. And so you just have to be careful with that and look back on my video to see how to do that. So I'm hoping you found that helpful. Obviously, it's quite a long video and I've said lots of things, but maybe this is something you could watch more than once and it will help you build your own Scratch play where characters talk to each other. Now, of course, I haven't mentioned Python programming yet at all. In future videos, I'm going to link Scratch and Python together and get you writing something in both environments, and you'll hopefully see the connection between the two. Until the next video, we'll teach you how to make a little quiz inside Scratch, and then we're going to make the same quiz inside Python, and hopefully then you'll see the link between the two environments.